Well, guys, I just about died when I came in the office this morning. Good morning. Let me show you what happened here. I come tooling up here, open the door, and then whack my head right into a spider web, and that guy tried to poison me. Oh, come on, you gotta move. I don't want to touch it. I need a stick. Come on, move. Move. He doesn't like me now. Get off my door. Ah! He's in self-defense mode, as he should be. Okay. Now that that's over with, Phil says our beans are a little wet. We had a truckload sitting here. We have a couple of issues. There's a lot of green ones in them. We knew that. Our elevator is closed today. That's a problem for us. They're doing safety training, pre-harvest safety training, but we're in the middle of harvest, so I'm going to go out here and see what these look like. I told them to run them up in the overhead and just stir them up a little bit, move them around if we think they're going to be a problem. I think we're going to have to wait another day, though. So the dry beans were really dry, but once you put them in a big truck like this or something, the moisture migrates from the green ones to the dry ones, and they kind of even out, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but now they're all soft. And they're warm, but it was hot yesterday, so I don't think they're necessarily heating from the moisture. I think it's just because they were hot and we haven't moved them. So we're gonna stir them up. That'll be okay. We don't have anywhere to go with them today. Well, we're gonna let Phil mess with that. He's gonna stir those beans up a little bit. We do have that grain cart sitting over in the field full yet too. It'd be nice to get that empty today. So the elevator where we have all of our contracts for fall delivery is closed today. There is another one not too far that we could try and take them to. I don't know. His tester said they were around 20%. That's too wet. It's too wet. We'd like to start when they're like 15, which the combine was saying that. But the problem is when you get all those green ones, it doesn't read them accurately, and trying to get them mixed thoroughly, and I don't know. We may have jumped the gun a little bit. I didn't make this call, but whatever. Anyway, we've got to move that field cultivator out of our fertilizer barn because we got more fertilizer coming. So we've got this barn out here that we built for our fertilizer storage, right? Dry fertilizer. We've got a mountain of potash sitting here. We're going to get a mountain of wheat starter fertilizer brought in on the other side here. This is 100 tons. We need 75 tons of our wheat starter, which is a blend of potash, some MAP, and some ammonium sulfate, AMS. And so we're going to pull this out. We're going to go park it out. It will come back in here after the fertilizer's gone for the winter. But for now, we're going to park it outside, and I can get that other fertilizer delivered. Just using the 8430, it should pull it just fine to get it out of here. Obviously, we're not putting it in the ground. The man lift needs to be not out there in the fertilizer barn too, so we're moving that. Dad just made himself a little work platform up here with his saw and everything. And we need this ladder out of there, so I'm taking that. Even got a little chair for a driver's seat. What a deal. We're just gonna put this in the back of the shop for now. We got a little sweeping up to do here. Okay, well, we got this cleaned up. Now, obviously, we haven't put the boards up or don't have any wood on this side, so we won't be able to push it quite as far against the sides and stuff. But we're not getting as much of the blended fertilizer either, so that's okay. And it's going to get used up rather quickly. This other fertilizer we've got coming in is our wheat starter fertilizer, so we're going to spread it anywhere that we are planting wheat this fall. Like I said, it's a blend of potash, which gives us our potassium, some MAP, which gives us our phosphorus and a little bit of nitrogen, and some AMS, ammonium sulfate, which gives us the rest of the nitrogen that we need for the fall, and some sulfur. So we're going to get that brought in here. I do need a semi-load of MAP, but I think I can use up the wheat blend first and then bring the MAP in here, all while we're pecking away at this pile, which is what we're going to do now. We're going to get the spreader out, load it up with some of this, I don't know how much, and get started spreading some MAP, or some potash. So our, we have a crop consultant, a company that we hire to take soil tests for us. Nestor Ag. They do great work if anybody needs anything. But they make recommendations. So they pull soil tests, and then they have all the zones, and they give me kind of recommendations on how much fertilizer everything needs to be based on those soil tests. So like this field here, 1-1, this is the field right out south of the barn here where my test plot normally goes. And it needs this much potash, the 3 different zones, 160 to 200. There's one zone that needs 100 pounds a map. And so they make maps that look like this. This is that field. See, here's the farm, here's my house. And then the 2 different zones. You can see the 200 and the 160. And so they send them to my ops center. I'm able to then create a work plan where I basically say, all right, this is what we're putting on. Next crop is going to be corn. It's potash. Here's that script that gives me the rates. We put our guidance tracks in, all the equipment, and then we save that. And then I send that directly to the tractor so that it's all there. So as soon as I pull into that field, it's going to pop up that work plan, and we'll confirm it, and then we just go and spread. But before I can transfer files into this tractor, well, we got to have a display. I have one right here. We had this one in the Gator for mapping fields, but we're done with it there. So let me get it mounted in here. Which way does this go? This way. Okay, we got the tractor up, and I imported all my files. There they all are. Those are the ones that I started with. Now, those are wheat fields that did not get chicken litter that need fertilizer. So, and we got the spreader out here in the field. We're just making sure everything is working right. You can see in our camera, our spinners are spinning. I can spin the belt. So that's working. Everything seems to be pretty good shape. I do remember from last year that you got to kind of let the oil in the tank warm up. Otherwise, the spinner speed surges on you. And I got to try and remember how all our settings and everything work, but I am sure we can figure it out. This is a Green Star dry rate controller, single bin, pull behind. Yeah, valves and stuff that we're going to leave there. Product setup. So this one we're spreading potash. It's a fertilizer. We're in pounds per unit. Our spread width is 80. Target spinner speed is 900. Spinner frame, that's a measurement for where that adjustment is. We got to go out and make sure that's physically set right. Product density, that's a number that we can kind of play with a little bit to get it dialed in with our rate right, but that should be pretty close. Feed gate opening, so it looks like we're set for 2 inches. Again, that's something that we have to manually figure out. The CFR is cubic feet per revolution. We're going to leave that alone. But yeah, we can change some of those numbers if we need to, but the really nice thing about our setup here is that we have an actual scale. And then we have the rate controller, which we tell it how many pounds is on that scale. Say we put in 1,000 pounds, which isn't very much, right? But then it will count down as it applies based on what it should have applied. We match that up to what our scale says we actually applied. And we can calibrate stuff really well with that. So, there, it's 0. All right. Oop, not that button, that button. So there's our field, there's our script. We need some potash. Well, let's load it up and see how big of a mess we made. This is why we have lots of concrete out here, so that it can be cleaned up. So I backed the spreader onto the outdoor pad here. We've got a bucket load and we're gonna dump it in there. We need about a little over 4,000 pounds, but we're gonna call it 5,000 pounds to just to do this one field. So that's about all we're gonna put in it for right now. Yeah, we're already spilling some. I've got Brock in the tractor. He's going to watch the scale for me. Not that it's that critical, but we'll try and be somewhat accurate here. Three scoops. It took 3 scoops. We didn't do too bad, but we did make a mess out here. It's all right. That's what it's there for. Okay. Oh, we got our gate is way too far open. We got to shut that down to 2 inches. Okay, got that gate closed down to about 2 inches. We may need to adjust it a little bit. I should get a tape measure and actually measure, but I'm using the notch on the side there. We've got a little gauge right here to tell me where our 3.5 is, which moves this divider in and out, which changes where the stuff falls on the spinners, which changes your spread pattern. gonna call that close enough there. We do have this divider on that's a little bit wider. We used for fertilizer to get it towards the center of the spinner so that we can throw farther. When we're doing lime or gypsum, we take that off because we're doing higher volumes and narrower spread widths. We should be good to go here. Do we need to pan test today? I don't really want to take the time to pan test, but we should probably pan test. We're going to start over here on this side. So normally we run the rows the short way across this field, mostly just because I do my plots here. But the tile lines run the long ways of the field, and they're actually on a little bit of an angle. But we're gonna run the length of the field the long ways so that we're not bouncing over every tile line every time. And we're just gonna do it like that. So I'm gonna get lined up here with reasonably close to the edge of the field. I may spray a little fertilizer in my lawn; it'll be fine. And we're gonna get started. I did have Brock grab the pan test kit, so we'll do that. But we got to get everything primed up and working first. So I'm gonna make a round and then we'll set this stuff out. Okay, we can see on our camera the potash falling off of our belt onto our spinners. That is good. You really can't see it spreading very good or see anything. Might see some weeds shake and jiggle a little bit. You can see us bouncing, that's for sure. But we can see on here our target rate and our actual rate. You can see it. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's rough. You can see this number counting down, so we'll make a round and then we'll compare it with this number to see if they match. Looks like they don't already. So we may need to close our gate down a little bit or change some numbers. Alright, so after our first pass, we should have 4,477 pounds left. And we have 4510. Actually, we're not that bad. 4477, so we're off by 33 pounds on one pass. All right, we need a bigger sample size, so we're going to keep going and call that close enough. After a full round, we're off by a little bit more, 100 and something pounds. So we should have applied more than we actually did, which means we need to open up our gate. We're gonna go 2 rounds on our gate, and we're gonna start pan testing now. Okay, so here's our pan test setup. We've got 9 little bins put out, and they are on a 10-foot spacing. Maybe we should do more, maybe we should do less. I don't know, that's what we do. We do 10-foot spacings. And the idea is that the first one is directly under the center of the spreader here, which means the tractor drives right over top of it. Hopefully we're lined up right there. And then we catch half the spreader, and then we go down and we skip one and we come back going the same direction on that side and the next pass over so that we catch the other half of the spreader and we see if they're even. Hopefully there's about the same in all of these. Now these tile lines and the uneven ground is going to cause us some problems, so I don't expect this to show perfect here, but we'll see if we're close enough. Alright, so we made our first pass going that way over there. Now we came back over there. Now we're going this way. If Brock measured right, this bin should be right in the middle and we won't hit it. It's close. It's close. I'm going to hedge over just a touch. We're just going to get past these and then stop and go check everything. Well, we're putting fertilizer on because I can find them. Right there is one. Right there is one. There and there and there. So that is good. Now we got to check our bins and see if they're relatively even. It's not a ton, but there is some in there. All right, Brock's bringing our pans. So we've got these little test tubes, basically. We're going to dump each one into one of these. Need our funnel. This is a fancy little pan test kit that Salford sent with the spreader. It's very nice. Anyway, we're hoping that they're nice and even. If they're not, we can adjust that flow divider to get more to the sides or more behind the spreader. From looking in the bins, it appears that we need more in the centers and less on the sides, but they're actually not that bad. There's more fines in the center. Let's see, this is opposite. Start over here. and then the bigger chunks get thrown to the center of the pattern, the outside of the spreader. Let's see what we got. Okay, so like I just said, we're a little light in what would be the center, the one that went directly over the pan, and we're a little heavier in the middle here, the center one. Now that's not as bad as it may look because there's a lot of fine in here, dusty stuff that we really should be weighing these, not volume measuring them. This is just as quick a visual as you can get here, basically. And so I think based on that, we're gonna adjust our divider just a little bit. The flow divider settings, it says starting point is 3.5 for use with the insert for fertilizer. That's where we've got it. I think we'll move it to 3. That should push more behind the spreader, and then we're probably good. I opened the gate up a little bit more. We're still off on our rate just a little bit. So hopefully those 2 adjustments put it right on. Should I do another one of these? Yes. Are we gonna do another one of these? Not today, we're not. All right, well, we moved our line from halfway between the 3 and the 4 to on the 3. I know you probably can't see those numbers at all there, but they're there. And I opened the gate up just a little bit more. So should be good now. We'll keep dialing that rate in based on the scale data, but I think our spread pattern is pretty good. Well, I made another round and a half since we made our last adjustment to our gate. Says we have 2,520 pounds in there, and it says we should have 2,511. That'll work. That'll work. 9 pounds over 10 acres. That'll work. We got that field done. There we go. So there's our spread pattern. Yeah. It'll get better on fields that aren't so rough and we can actually move at a constant speed. Says we got 971 pounds left. Actual is 1,010. That's 40 pounds. That's pretty close. We can try and tweak it just a little bit, but we're pretty close. So, I don't know if I'm ready to go do the next fields yet or not, but we're going to probably load up and head to some more. I got to make some phone calls and find out. So we've got that group of fields where we've been tiling over there, and there's a couple of fields that we can spread over there, but they also need some map, and I want to have my fertilizer supplier just bring a tender over and fill me up while I'm down there, because we need like 6 tons and not a whole semi-load. And so I think that's what we're going to try and do, but I got to coordinate all of that. We'll take the potash down with us, spread it, and then once we're empty, have them fill up the map. We'll spread that while we're there and bring back a little bit to finish the map that I need in the field that we just did, and it should work out. We got another wagon load of wheat to treat. Can you see it in there? It's in there. Tractor and everything. So, but we got to get rid of this one we finished the other day first. He's supposed to come here this afternoon and pick that up. I'm going to take the drone trailer down. We're done with this. So let's disassemble it, get it off my trailer so that I can deliver wheat next week, most likely. A lot of you guys keep asking me for updates on a truck. I don't have any updates on a truck. The old one, the stolen one, we're settled. The insurance check came. Like, I can go buy whatever I want whenever I want. The problem is I'm being picky, and I think that all of them are stupidly overpriced, and I don't want to pay for them. My plan all along since this happened was to get another half-ton, and then in the last week I've kind of been like, maybe I should just buy a 1-ton through the farm and go personally buy a half-ton somewhere. I could do that. I could do that. I don't know if that makes the most sense or not, because I use the big truck for hauling seed. Like, that's the primary use of it. But it gets used the rest of the year for farm stuff, like pulling a drone trailer around. So, I don't know. But those trucks are even more expensive than half-tons, and it's just, they're all outrageous. They should not cost over $70,000, $80,000. Some of them are $90,000. It's just outrageous. I should be able to buy a new truck, what I'm looking for less than $70,000, less than $60,000. They're all too expensive. So what I'm saying is that I'm complaining and I'm protesting by not buying anything, waiting for a deal that's not going to come, and I really am in no hurry to go buy a truck. It's going to happen, but I'm not in any hurry. So I had to pull the drone trailer out to get that wagon and tractor of wheat in there. And since we're done with it, I figured, well, we might as well get this stuff cleaned up and put away. So we're going to clean the drone up here a little bit. Probably, I need to spend a day with a cloth and really wiping all that stuff down. I don't really want to spray it and wash it down too bad, but flushing the tank out, I kind of drained it and rinsing it. Here, I'm putting some clean water in. We're going to rinse the hoses and the lines out to the nozzles. We can do that just with it on the ground here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. And we'll get this put in the shop somewhere, get the tanks and the generators and everything taken off of the trailer. So if I go into the menu on the controller here and hit the sprayer, there is clean hose button. So we'll clean that and it's going to flush those lines out. We need to have this happen several times. Here, let's try the clear trapped air. No, that's not it. Alright, we're just going to keep doing that. Clean hose. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so there's the water's clean now coming out. I'm just going to let it run and flush until it runs most of that water out if I can. We'll probably need to run some RV antifreeze to it, although I'm probably going to just keep this in the office so it won't see freezing temperatures. So I don't know if we need RV antifreeze. So it appears we're not going to the field today. I think I could have predicted that this morning when the beans were 20% coming out of the truck. They are in the top dry. Top of that bin over there. We're blowing some air on them. No heat. It's 80 degrees out right now. The air is plenty hot. So we're just blowing some air, trying to dry them out a little bit. It'll work. We maybe could have found somewhere to take them or taking them in tomorrow, but at 20%, they're going to ding us at least 50 cents a bushel. And all it costs us to put them up there is a little bit of diesel fuel for electricity for our generator. Literally, that's it. We're not burning any propane, anything else, so we'll just run them up there. It's fine. I'm going to finish getting this drone trailer unloaded here, and we'll get that trailer unhooked probably, get some stuff put away. I should run over to the field where the combine is. I was having an issue with my header height sensors yesterday, so I should go look into that while I've got time here. I got my trailer unhooked here, and came up to the irrigated field. We're done. I shut her down for the season a couple days ago. So, but my vent fan on my VFD was still running, so I just came up and shut that off and just tighten some stuff up there. We've got to get that injection pump brought home and clean that up. At some point, we need to winterize the machine. I don't know when that's going to happen, but yeah, it needs to happen. So, I think our corn's about done. I know that's just the outside row, but there's a lot of ears that are starting to tip over and hang down. So
any greener when you go inside the field?
Spots of it do. We should walk out here to my check strip and see how much difference there is in the non-irrigated versus the irrigated, but we saw it from the air the other day. I came over to the field here. I want to see if we can figure out what's going on with this head. So we've got a sensor that's causing me issues. We're going to see if we can do a calibration, and if the calibration fails, it should tell me which sensor is the problem. Well, the calibration went through. Maybe that's all it needed. It had been calibrated for wheat with the off-ground sensors, and so I wonder if that was why we had to recalibrate it with the on-ground sensors. So let's see if I hit this button now, and then this. Yeah, see, that switched. So now it says height sensing on ground on this exclamation here about a calibration issue. Those flip-flopped. Okay, that makes sense. We should be good now. So when I hit the number 1 button, it raises it. When I hit number 2, it's supposed to go down. And then this, instead of giving me a feeder house position, turns to a hydroflex pressure. And I can adjust that with my dial here. The higher it goes, the more pressure there is on our hydroflex hoses, and I can turn it down, lets it flex more and puts more weight on the ground. So that's what it's supposed to do. That is not what it was doing yesterday. And then if I hit 3, it just goes to a different preset. So, good. All right, that makes me feel better about it working like it's supposed to now. All right, well, the combine should be good to go. I don't know when we're going to get back over there and keep combining. And here's the thing, there's nowhere to go with the beans right now. The elevator that we want to haul to is closed today. They're closed over the weekend, tomorrow and Sunday. So until Monday, we really can't haul them anywhere. So there's no reason to combine them today when we might as well just let them dry out. probably not even do them tomorrow. Maybe Sunday afternoon we could go over and finish those fields where we were started there. But yeah, I would guess, based on how fast things are drying, the heat, that kind of stuff, by Monday we're going to be going. And there's enough fields that are close enough to ready that we're probably going to go pretty hard and get a lot of beans done next week. I would assume by this time next week or by next weekend, we'll be pushing 500 acres of beans off, which is an incredibly good early start. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to move this loader tractor over. We're going to back the spreader inside here. I'm waiting on them to get bales picked up, which they are working on. I can confirm that they are picking bales up. And once they get that done, then we can go do some spreading over there, which who knows when that'll happen. Maybe Monday or Tuesday in the morning when we're not combining, we can go over and do that or something. I don't know. So, anyway, let's get this put in. There. My backup camera, or my camera on the back, is not exactly positioned as a backup camera, so it's a little... Yeah, we had plenty of room. Anyway, it's fine. Okay. I did check that combine tire when we were over there yesterday. I kind of talked about that a little bit and then sort of left hanging on it yesterday, but we pumped that tire up. We couldn't find a leak. There was nothing sticking out of it, like I hit something or ran something over, so I don't know what's causing our leak. But we pumped it up. It's supposed to have 23 in it, pounds. We pumped it up to 27. I just checked it when we were back there and it was at 19. So it's got a leak, but it's a pretty slow leak. We're gonna have to take a bottle of soapy water over and see if we can figure it out. Look, we got our old 4440 back up here. Brock brought her back from Berkey. And we're going to hook it up to the mower. So with having that spreader, we kind of need the 7520 to run the loader and fill the spreader and stuff. So we brought this back to put on the mower. All right, it is 5 o'clock on a Friday. I'm going home. Look at this. I even got a truck parked in my own spot where I can drive it home. I haven't had that for a while. Now that I got the Chevy unhooked from the trailer, the drone trailer, I just drive that for a while, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. I need to clean it out a little bit. So, have a great weekend, everybody. Like I said, we might work a little bit. Probably not tomorrow. Maybe Sunday afternoon we'll get some beans done. I don't know. We're going to be a little bit patient because there's no reason to be in a hurry right now. But I can pretty much tell you how this is going to go. We're going to give it a few more days. Things are going to dry out a little bit, and then we're going to go. And we've already got beans in the dryer bin. So if we need to dry them, it's not a big deal. We just put them up there and blow some air on them and dry them. And we'll do it. I expect to get a lot of beans combined next week. And I expect that we're going to kind of run out of dry beans at some point and then have to switch to some corn 2 to 3 weeks out from now. Just a guess. But we'll see. So thanks for watching this one. I do have some wheat to treat. I'll probably work on that in the morning. We are going to a Bowling Green football game tomorrow afternoon. So from you guys, actually, way back last winter when my boys did the American Heart Association's Kid Heart Challenge for school, and they came on here and asked you guys for some donations, and you showed up and showed out for them, and they made a huge amount of donations to the school in their names through you guys. They were the top 2 givers or earners or whatever you want to call it, donators for the school, and were gifted 4 tickets, vouchers to a Bowling Green football game. So we are cashing those in tomorrow. Bowling Green plays Liberty at 5 o'clock, and yeah, it'll be fun. First college football game experience for them, so hopefully they enjoy it. Anyway, have a great night, have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week, probably.